Thank you for bearing with us as we experience technical difficulties. I was just having dinner this morning, or sorry, lunch, no, breakfast. Which is the meal you have in the morning? I was having breakfast this morning. As randomly, the internet went out, and Tristan looked into it and was like, apparently we need a new modem. And so then Tristan, after work, got a new modem and installed it. And so here I am, getting to enjoy puzzles with all of you. So let us have a look. So we get to start today with our voted on puzzle. So the people who support at the windmill level or above get to look at puzzles and vote. So this puzzle was part of a two-way tie. And the people who voted for it are Screaming Ice Cube, David, Plonktime, Russ, David, Ambrose, Luda, and dumediat. So this puzzle is by dumediat, a rare treat. I think dumediat does not publish too many puzzles, but I tend to really enjoy dumediat puzzles. So let us have a look at the rules here. So we have sort of a real Sudoku grid in the middle, and then we have some nonsense on the outside. Within the real Sudoku grid, we have a few types of clues that are probably familiar, but that we'll go over. So digits on an X need to sum to 10, so they could be 5 and 5, except that would break the rules of Sudoku. Digits on a black dot need to have one be double the other, so they could be 5 and 10, except that would break the rules of Sudoku, but same idea. Sum to 10 or 15. The sum to 10 or 15, I see. 10 or 15. So cells connected by a V sum to 5 or 15. Cells connected by an X sum to 10 or 15. I despise that, but that's okay. Let's see. Okay, so numbers separated by a white dot are consecutive, or what else could they be? It looks like just consecutive. Not all dots are given. Not all possible V's or X's are given either. So then the clues outside the grid are our X sums, where they give the sum. So just to give you a sample, if this is a 3, then we could go 1, 7, and then there'd be other digits here, whatever, 6, 5, 2, whatever. So this 3 here, if this is being read as an X sum, would be saying take the sum of these 3 numbers. So you'd highlight those if you wanted, and the sum of these would be 11. So this digit here would be an 11 if this were a valid X sums clue. So that is how that works. So those are our rules. So that doesn't really mean like anything for these cells. But it does mean something for these cells. So like this cell and its X sum, sum to 10 or 15. And these two X sums together are consecutive. These two X sums together sum to 10 or 15. So I guess even if they sum to 15, that's saying the maximum any of them could be is, well, we'll say 14. So that means these can't be even as big as 5, actually, if you think about it. Because 5 numbers always sum to at least 15. So like if this is a 5, there's no way the X sum clue is less than 15, but that won't work because I can't put a 15 on an X unless I put a 0 there, but I can't. So that means these are from 1, 2, 3, 4. And these two are consecutive, which I think breaks this. Oh, no, it does not break this V. It works if these are 2, 3 exactly, but one of these V's probably is broken. Right, one of these V's is definitely broken because if this V is correct, then... well, by break the V, I mean that the V is 15. Because a V doesn't sum to 15. A V sums to 5. So that is there. Now, as Tristan says, I don't think either of these things can be 1. Because if it were, oh no, 1 is actually possible. We could do 1, 2, 1, 9 would actually be possible. Because this could be 10. I don't think 1, 2 is actually too small. I think 1, 2 is fine. I in my head had locked in that this actually is under 15, but it is not actually too small. But yeah, I guess a really easy way to see one of these V's is broken is that if this V is correct, then of course these are a quadruple, and then this V can't possibly add to 15. So we have that at the very least. And we can do exactly the same thing over here for exactly the same reason. This is the same clue. Oh, I do agree with Selena that actually 4 is too high, because if these are 3, 4, then we're summing all 6 of these numbers plus 1 of these 2 numbers, but these 6 numbers already sum to at least 21. Yes, I like the rules. I would just not have chosen to use an established symbol. So both of these have a 2 on them for sure. Yeah, the thing I dislike isn't the rule. The thing I dislike is the notation. Okay. So those 2s are interesting. So this is either 1, 4 or 6, 7, 8, 9. For what it is worth. Yeah, 2, 3 would have to be exactly, if these are 2, 3, it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 4 doesn't sum. 1 and 4 aren't consecutive. Let's see. So oh, you meant this V. This V, sorry. 1, 4, yeah, 1, 4 I guess is not possibly going to work, because if an X sum is a 1, it's definitely a 1, and then the 4 would have to sum to 2, but 4 digits can't sum to 2. So I guess this is not 1, 4. So this V is lying. So these numbers are quite large, regardless, because they're the sum of like these cells and more. The X sums are certainly not required to be 1 through 9, because this one is going to be at least 21. So the X sum can be huge. Hey, Pause. Hope you're doing well. Yes, 6, 9 also isn't going to work. That's true, Martin. That's a very good point, Martin, because if one of them is 9, the X sum is definitely 45, but then you can't make 6 digits sum to 44, which you would have to. Oops. So these are, in fact, actually exactly 7, 8. And there's sort of a weird, the sum of these 2 digits is consecutive with this digit thing. Okay, so if this is real, it's a 1, 4. Let's see, I guess this black dot is either 4, 8 or 3, 6. Those are the only options available. I don't know that that is interesting at the moment. Let's see. Likewise, this is either 1, 4 or 6, 7, 8, 9. Garion says if this is 2, 3, the black dot is broken. Why can't the black dot be 4, 8? What is wrong with 4, 8? Oh, right. Okay, right. So yeah, the previous note, if this is a 2, 3 pair, then what we've noted is the digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all appear in here. And we noted that before, but I didn't note it in connection with the black dot because I noted it down here. But right, if these are 2, 3, then that's saying we have 5 cells summing to 15, and then these could only be 6, 8. So these are actually 1, 2. Which then does mean these are 1 and 9, because one of them is 1, and I can't put a 1 and a 14, which means one of these is a 7, which means one of these is a 7. It's not that one, because I can't put a -2 or an 8 here. Neither is allowed. So we've got all of that. Let's see. Because 2 cells can't sum to 14. Sorry, I did that math before, and I should have repeated it, because I did it, like, right at the beginning. Well, 2 cells can sum to 14, but 2 cells can't sum to 14 if one of them is a 2. Is what I should actually say, to be more precise. Yes, as David says. I feel like these 2 cells are restricted, but I don't really want to write it out because it seems kind of painful. But triangular numbers grow slower than powers of 2, so probably there's some things that I cannot put here. I mean, for example, this can't be 1, 2. Okay, I guess I really should think about this because I see it can't be 9 because of the 7, 8. So can't be 1 because then these would be 1, 2, but I can't make these 1, 2 because I can't make 2 cells sum to 2 if one of them is a 2. 2, 3. Is that actually possible? Oh, right. Sorry. There's a 2 looking over it. So sorry, it's not. Okay, so there actually is no mathematical restriction whatsoever, is I guess the point. So there wasn't any point in this, I think, is the upshot of this. I mean, any point in sort of thinking about it from that point of view. It's good to know that it's restricted. Let's see. But I was thinking that it was going to turn out that it was going to be difficult to make this black dot work, but I don't think that's actually true. Let's see. I mean, I know this black dot isn't 1, 2 for what it's worth. See, Jay says this can't be a liar. It can't be like 312. Does 312 break this? How complicated is it to rule out something like 312? So I'd need these 2 to sum to 9. Okay. It's only a virtual 3-4 Z-wing if these two are if these two are both the same 3-4. But they don't have to be the same 3-4. I mean, I guess if this one is 3-4 exactly, then we get that. But these could be 5-6, presumably. Although I don't know if 5-6 actually works. It's possible that 5-6 doesn't actually work. I mean, I guess it's probably worth marking this. Because I guess maybe not. Yeah. If this were, I guess if this, I knew this was 15, then I could mark that this was 6 or 8. But I guess it's not really possible. Let's see. Okay. So Eckbert is looking at these two and trying to think about what those two do in relation with these 3 digits. And so if this number here so certainly neither of these numbers is 1. It's like if this number's at most 9, this number's at most 10, and that does something interesting with these two cells. It makes that at most 3 and this at most 4, but it doesn't quite obviously do anything. Why do I care about the white dot in the row? Is it a parity thing or something? Oh, Lord. That makes me nauseous to read, Eckbert. So, yeah, that feels like a miserable step to put in a puzzle on purpose. So the claim is that if we torture this X and we can write in all the possible combinations of it being 2 digits, that it doesn't actually work with any of them because it eventually breaks this by using all the evens. That is disgusting. Okay. We could just write in this digit instead. So this digit is certainly at most 4. And it can't even be 4, right? Maybe it could be 4. Couldn't be 4, 6, but it could be 4 with 11. Oh, no, it can't ever be 4 because of the whole 411 joke. Got it. Okay. So this can't be 4 because you can't make an 11x sum with a 4, even though you can make 4-digit sum to 10. You can make 4-digit sum to 11, but only if none of them are equal to 4. So this is always a 1, 2, or 3. And I don't think 1 is very likely, because if this is a 1, that's a 1, and 2 is not one of the valid options. So this can only be 2 or 3. uh, in total. Let's see. So the version with a 2 then, and this is the point I found a little bit gross. The two doesn't work because if this is a 2, this can't be a 13. So it'd have to be 2 8. And so if you fill in the digits, this would go 2 8 6. That makes this a 4 8. And so the point is that's all the evens in the row. So this white dot has no value. So this is a 3 is the point. And we do get our 3 dance from Zach. Boop doop. Woo! Ba-doop ba-doop. Wah! Ba-doop ba-doop. Wee! Ba-doop 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 ba-doop. Wah! Wee! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Zach likes any step in the puzzle as long as it lets him dance. So this is 4 8. And yeah, so 3 7 doesn't work. And so 3 7 doesn't work for the same reason of you can do 7 in 3 digits, but 3 isn't one of them. So this has to be a 12, which means these 2 digits sum to 9. And they're not 3 6 4 5 or 1 8. So these digits are 2 7. dumediat has a more elegant proof that does not use this white dot mercifully. So I recommend look at dumediat's proof if you want to see a less gross way of doing this. So this digit is either a 1 or a 6 because it's on a white dot with a 2 or a 7, but it can't be an 8 and it can't be a 3. This digit has more optionality. So yeah, so this digit now, sorry, Sayori kept correctly saying row 1 column or row 4 column 1, so I kept looking at this cell, which is not row 4 column 1, and kept trying to figure out how on earth Sayori was getting this cell. But the point is that this is an 11 or a 13. But what digit is this? This could be 2 with an 11 and a 9, except that this digit can't be 9 is the problem. Because this digit is 1, 3, 6, or 8. So this being 11 doesn't actually work. Because of the fact that, remember, you can't do 11 with a 4. And so you can't do 11 with a 4 and can't do 11 with a 2, and 3 is already taken. So this has to be 13. You can't do 13 with 2, so this has to be a 4. We get to do the 4-11 joke a lot in this puzzle. So this certainly isn't an 8 because I need these 4 cells to sum to 13. So that means I need these 3 cells to sum to 9. So they can be 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. And yeah, that's definitely true. They can be 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. One of those. Hey, Laura, how are you doing? I do actually know the one in this row is in this box, so it is worth noting there's no ones. I mean, I already knew there's no one here, but there's no one there either. I guess I already knew that as well. Maybe I didn't learn anything from this one corner mark, but I have made the one corner mark, and it is too late to unmake the one corner mark, so we're going to have to live with it now. Let's see. Okay, so if this is 6, 7, does that break the V? Because if this is 6, 7, this V has to be real. Maybe it can just get away with being 2, 3. Actually, it might even just be able to get away with being 1, 4 as well. So I think maybe 6, 7 is okay. See, Sayori and Eckbert are both saying if this is a 2, it breaks this. So it would have to be 1 there, 4 there. Oh, but it would be 2, 7. This puzzle involves a lot more look ahead than I want to do in my puzzles, I'm going to be honest. But if this is a 2, then that's a 1. So that's a 1. So that's a 9 because it can't be a 14. So that's a 7. And so now this cell is broken is the point because it is 2, 7. So this is not the 2, is Eckbert and Sayori's point. So that's the 2. There. Let's see. If this is a 3, is that going to break? I don't know. Because I'm remembering this whole, if this is 2, 3, then we know that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I was debating if that broke this V. Because that would have to be the last low digit in the column. But I don't know that there's a problem with that immediately. Let's see. I don't quite know what's going on here yet, I don't think. Even though this V can sum to 15, Garion? Right, because, right. So if this is a 1, okay, right. So if this is a 1, that's a 3. That breaks both honest V's. So this would have to sum to 15, but that's a problem because remember, this is a 3, and so these cells are a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuple. So this V can't sum to 5 or 15 in that instance. So this can't be a 1. Agree. So, funnily enough, if this is a 1, these two are the same digit. Is that interesting? Because if this is a 1, these are both 15s, and so these two are the same digit. So they would have to be this would have to be 6, 9. So if this is a 1, these are 6, 9 exactly. I'm debating if I want to mark that, because this is either 1, 4 or 6, 9 is actually the only thing that this can be as a V, because it's not 2, 3. And if it's 7, 8... Oh, sorry, no, that's not true. Sorry, I'm wrong. It could be 7, 8, and this could be 2, 3. That's fine. That's not broken, I don't think. But it is true that if this is a 1, then these two are the same thing and they're 6, 9. Right. This V is always a sum to 15. Because if this is a 3, then we use all of the numbers from 1 through 5. Okay, so there's never a... So this always sums to 15. That is true. Okay, that is helpful. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. Agree. Okay, but if it's 7, 8, then that digit is a 2 or a 3. So this is a 2, 3 or a 6, 9. Because if this was a 7, 8, it would be the same as that digit, and it would break that 7, 8 pair. Let's see. Okay. Oh, you're right. You're right. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, that was nonsense. Yeah. This can still be 1, 4. The point is, this is never 7, 8. That statement's still true. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 7, or 6, 9. But you're right. I was saying something that was not correct. But this being 7, 8 breaks. I mean, I guess an entirely... No, never mind. I mean, a completely different proof would be that if these were all 7, 8, you would not be able to put 7 and 8 in row 9. I think I probably need to prove that this isn't 7, 8, but I don't see how to do it yet. Do I want to look further at what happens when I fill in a 3 here? Hey, MusicCuber, great to see you. I think that's 2 streams in a row. Oh, does this being a 3 break this white dot? Because the outies here are either these or these. And those sets of outies are interesting in the 2, 3 case. So this would be 1 away from those two, I suppose. So this would be 1 away from the sum of those two, but that's okay. I think that's plausible in that universe. I mean, I guess I can write down things like this V is either from 1, 2, 3, 4 or it's 6, 9. KNT is here sometimes. I have not seen KNT here today, Chip, but I do quite enjoy a lot of KNT's puzzles. 2, 4 breaks 7 in row 1. Sayori says this can't be 2, 4. It would assuredly mean the 7 in row 1 was there. I mean, the 7 in row 1 is very likely to be there unless the 7 is on here. I don't see why the 2, 4 does that, though. Oh, I do. It's through the medium of the X sum. It is another of the it's another of the weird sort of like look ahead things that I can't quite do. But yeah, so 2, 4 here makes this is the real problem just that if I put 2 and 7 here, I have to put both 2 and 7 here, and there's no way I can put both 2 and 7 here? Because that sounds believable. Because how am I putting both 2 and 7 here? Certainly the 2 would have to go on the black dot. Yeah, that feels like the way that this was maybe intended as a step. Because if I put 2, 7, I just can't put the 2, 7 here, is I think the point. Because if I put the 2, 7 here, see, that's a step I can get behind. If I put the 2, 7 here, the 2, 7's a line, and then I'm forced to put 2 and 7 in here, and there's no way that's going to work. Because this would be 2, 4, and neither way of making this 2, 4 lets me make that a 7. So this is the 2, 7, meaning that's the 9 and the 1 and the 1. Oh, I hope it went well, at least, Calvin Ball. Glad to have you here, though. So if this X sums to 15, it's 6, 9. Oops, sorry. It is 6, 9 because the 7 is gone. If this X sums to 10, it's not 1, 9 because of the 1 in the box. It's not 2, 8 or 3, 7, so it would be 4, 6 like that. So there's always a 6 here. Is the point, which means that this is a 1. So that is a 2, a 7, and a 6. Okay, so now these are a 1, 2 pair in that order because of the fact that they have to sum to 13, which is a little bit interesting. So this isn't 1 or 2 anymore. Right, this is now a true V because the 6 and 7 are gone. So this is from 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one's not 1 or 4, so it's 2, 3, which means this one is 2, 3 as well, and we know the order. So that's 3, and that's 2, and that's 1. So that's 1, and that's 9, and that's 7. I don't know. I'm really shocked these worked out to both be 2, 7. That feels wrong to me. It felt like these were supposed to work out differently, but alas, we have lost that bet. Oh, and then this is an 8 and a 7. And now this is no longer able to be a 3. So 4, 6, or 9. And this is, of course, a 3 or an 8. But yeah, now we can do the outies, because now the sum, if you look at this, the 7 sum is summing these digits, and the 8 sum is summing these digits. And so the yellow and the orange sums are consecutive, and so that means these two digits have a consecutive sum with that. So these need to sum to 6, which they can't, or 8, which they can, making that a 5, is the point there. Let's see, what are these? They seem to be 4 and 8. Like that, so that is not a 4. That seems not to be a 3 anymore. That's not a 2 anymore. Let's see. I did say they were both 6 and 9. So that is a liar as well. Exactly. I did say they weren't both 7, 8. Let's see. No. Let's see. Okay, what are these digits? Oh, that's true. Mark might not work because of the none 9 by 9 institute of the thing. Oh, there are 4 ones. I missed one of the ones, so that's just a 1. And now, yeah, whereas 3, 7 in column 3, the 3, 7 in column 3 is there. So these are whatever the other ones are. 4, 5. For what it's worth. And so these are 6. Oh, well, that just is the 6 now. You too, Chip. Hopefully work is not too bad. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are just 8, 9. Now, and so that is a 5, I believe. These are a 3 and a 9. No, that can't be right. Have I repeated a digit? Oh, not a 3. Sorry, there's a 3 over here. These are an 8 and a 9. Let's see. I've got some 1, 2s looking in over here. There's a 2. I guess one of these two is a 2 at least. Uh, 6 in row 3 is a good spot because we've got 6 corner marked there. So that is a 6. These are a pair of 5 and 9. Okay, so that rules the 9 out of that. So these really are a 4, 6, which makes that a 5 and a 4. Makes this something else. 3, 8, or 9. It's not an 8, so this is a 3 or a 9. It's going to resolve through some really disgusting use of this black dot. That is my prediction. I'm predicting I will not like how this black dot is used, but we'll see. Let's see. 3, 8, 9. Or sorry, so this is a 3 or a 9 I can fill in. 2. Let's see. Yeah, I can fill in these, I suppose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 5, 9. Let's see. Could be 2142, I think. I think that's possible. Oh, I guess it's not, because neither of these can be 42. Because 42 would require 7 cells, unfortunately. If this could be 6, 7, then it could be 2142. Yeah, this has still got some options left to it. What am I doing on 2s? I'm just going to cross this out so I don't look at it ever again. Okay, let's see. This can't be 4, 6 for what it's worth. I don't know, though. Yeah, and I've got 2 1s looking around here. Okay, so if this is going to sum to 15, then this is definitely going to be 9 and 6. Otherwise, it's going to sum to 5, in which case this is going to be 3, 4, and this is going to be 1, 2. I don't feel great about that pencil mark. It's not my best pencil mark ever, but I think it's correct. I'm trying to decide if the fact that this white dot has to go into column 9 does anything at all interesting. I don't think so. Like, it would just, like, if it's 3, 4, or 4, 5, they would have to go in these 3 cells, but I don't see anything interesting about those combinations. Let's see. Can I rule anything out of this now? I don't think so. I'm debating if I'm supposed to be doing outie math in, like, these cells. Oh, God. Is it going to be a parity thing? I'm noticing that that these cells almost can't be even. And if these cells can't be even, that might make it impossible to make this black dot work with that being a 6. Otherwise, one of these would have to be an 8. Okay, let's do the multiple of 3 thing. So if these are 5, 6, then these cells that would be the outies, and it could be those cells instead, the point is that they would have to sum to a multiple of 3, and that's because 45 is a multiple of 3, so 90 is a multiple of 3. And assuredly, the sum of this black dot is a multiple of 3 because it's x plus double x. So this is a good thing to keep in the back of your head when you see black dots, is that black dots always sum to a multiple of 3. And so the point is, these sum to a multiple of 3 already. And so these would have to be the digit that was here that was also in the outies would have to be a 3, 6, or 9. It's not a 6. It would have to be a 3 or a 9. So opposite the 5 would have to be a 3 or a 9. What would have been funny is if it turned out that there was a 3 and a 9 over here, and so opposite the 6 would have to be a 6. That would have been cute. Let's see. Unfortunately, I don't see anything wrong with it being 3, 9. We have fascinated dumediat, which I believe means that we're not thinking about the right thing. I have 2 3 5 9s in column 7. I agree with this assessment. The white dot values in column 10. We actually already know the white dot values in column 10, Michael. So unfortunately, the reason I have marked a red slash over this is that we've already gotten all the information we're going to get out of this clue because we've already sort of figured this out over here. So we could, but I don't think it will do us any good, unfortunately. Unless you view that we're supposed to fill these in order to complete the puzzle. Let's see. 9 pair. I know there's an 8 up here somewhere. I was going back to thinking about V's summing to multiples of 3, but I don't think that is I don't think that's useful either. If this is a 9, that's a 6, and I really sort of rapidly run out of places to put 9 and 6 in box 9. I'm trying to think like I was case checking this, but I don't think it does anything exciting. If 6 isn't on the dot, then 6 is in one of these two, and that's a 9. I don't know if that's interesting. I guess like if 6 isn't on the dot, then that digit's a 9. So like the 6 is on the dot unless that digit is a 9, I guess is the point. Uh uh if that digit's not a 9, then there's a 9 in one of these three cells, which would mean that wasn't a 9. Uh So I guess the point is the blue digit's either on this dot or the blue digit's there, and so the conditional is really dependent on whether the blue digit is 6 or 9. I don't think I can do any other meaningful Sudoku with the blue digit though. Uh, but that's just a different way of sort of talking about the like where the 9 goes down there. Uh, 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 let's see. Erhan says this can't be 6-9 anymore. I don't see why. It would just make that digit blue. Is it something like one of these two has to be 6-9? I don't see why that's the case. But maybe there's some clever reason why these can't both be honest. Uh, uh, like I suppose the way it has worked out, these two can't share any digits, right? Uh, so this V has to go in column 7 somewhere. Uh, and so if this is not 6-9, then that would have to be the 1-2, because it's the only place the 1-2 from here would go. Uh, but I don't quite see that immediately breaking. Does one of these not have any values? Is that the point? If both of these are honest, then these digits would be from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Would that leave them no values? I don't think so. Uh, it does feel like the if they're both honest world is probably the thing I want to disprove, although I don't really know why. It just there aren't many clues left. Uh, the 8 in column 7 is a little restricted because it either goes here or there, but that doesn't feel super restricted. There are really 3 total possibilities for these things. There's a possibility for roping. Yep, we'll rope if I make this an 8. To make this a 4, 6, 8. Okay, Sweet Blues wants us to sort of use the almost triple to try and get this gone. So if this is a 3, then we get a 3, 5, 9 triple in the column. And so then the only possibility is that this is 1, 4. That becomes 8. In fact, that's the 4 and that's the 1. I mean, we could try and calculate what this sum is in the instance where this is 3. Because it wouldn't be very big, because that would be a 3 and that would be a 1. Right? So I think in a pretty messy way, if this is a 3, I think it breaks. Because if this is a 3, then this becomes 1, 4. So this is a 3 and a 1. What's the biggest this digit can possibly be? It's a 5. So the maximum this could possibly be is 9. And now this is a sum of 4 digits. Oh, no, this being 1, 4 is a problem for a different reason. This being 1, 4 puts 3 4s into column 7 and 8. Because if this is a 3, this is a 1, 4, but then that's a 4 and this is a 4. So this being a 3 overdoes the oversaturates the amount of 4s that we actually have. That's definitely not elegant, but it does at least rule 3 out of that cell. So Sweet Blue says if this is a 5, then this is a 1, 4 for the same reason, makes that a 4, means this isn't a 4. So basically, in no instance is this cell a 4 because of that. dumediat earlier asked me to define disgusting. I feel like this is the definition of disgusting, but I also don't really think this is what dumediat intended us to do. Let's see. let's see, this being 2 is a problem. If this is a 2, that's a 3. It gets rid of 5 from here. Uh, uh, if this is a 2, okay, so because these two are different, if I ask myself where this digit goes in box 6, that's a valid question. And so it never goes in any of those cells. And so if this is a 2, well, just basically this digit definitely goes in one of those, and none of those cells can be 2. So this cell's never a 2. So I guess that means that one's never a 3. So that at least sort of gets this down to this is always a 1, 4, 6, 9. Sadly, I don't think that trick works on anything else because the 6 would just go there, I guess. So the 2 either is here or it's on there. If the 2 is on there, then the 2 goes there. Uh, if this is the cell that's 4, 6, it's a little bit interesting in combination with all of this stuff that's happening. Hey, Isabella. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, this one hasn't been my cup of tea, if I'm honest, Isabella, but it is really bizarre. Row 2 column 8 is a 3, then column 7 is broken. If this is a 3, then we have to put a 3 somewhere in column 7, not there or there. There's plenty of room in the world for puzzles that aren't to my taste. That it is not a judgment on the puzzle. There are plenty of puzzles where I will say I don't think it's a good puzzle, but that was not what I was saying. I was just saying this is not sort of my style. I don't quite see how this breaks column 7 yet, though. Uh, 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 let's see. Should I mark this column? It feels like there's a lot of stuff left in this column. 3, 4, 9, 5. I guess in most instances there's a 5 that's here. I thought that I made that mistake earlier, Garian, actually. Something about this combination of digits made me want to do that. Hey, Jace, how are you doing? Yeah, 1, 9, and 4, 6 are not valid options here, which is sad because I keep thinking I could rule out 4, 6 by thinking about this digit. But then I remember that 4, 6 is not a sum to 5 or 15. I mean, there's no possible way I can do anything with this X, right? Oh God, is there something about like this X in row 6 or something that I'm supposed to do? Uh, uh, I agree if this is a 6-9, then that's a 4. And so the sum would be 20-ish. Let's see. Do I know anything? What is this digit? I kind of want to fill it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, or 5. So if this is 6, 9, that's a 4. And so this sum would be 19 plus this digit. Oh, Selena's point is this digit can't be a 4 anymore. Because if this cell is a 4, it makes this 6, 9, and this nothing. Which is true. So this can't be a 4. I agree with that. Let's see. I guess probably when I ruled 4 out of this cell, probably I could have gotten that at the same time. Okay, let's see. Todd says if this digit is 7, then the 2 in box 6 has problems. If this is a 7, then this would have to be 2, 3. And that breaks that. So, wow. Yeah. So if this is a 7, the 2 is placed there. This becomes a 3, but I put a 7 and a 3 in that row to break that. So that doesn't work. And I guess, yes, Selena points out that looks a lot better if we corner mark 2 in one of those cells. And so that sort of shows you that, yes, 7 here does something bad. So 7 doesn't go there, 7 goes there. Let's see. I was about to say something about placing the 8 in column 7, but I see now that there's a problem with that. Yeah, we can mark row 4. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one's not an 8. This one's never a 5 for sure. So this is 3, 8, or 9. 3 would only go with 7. 8 would only go with 7 because 2 is gone. 9 would go with 1 or 6. Have a safe drive, Paul Fly. So yeah, so that is 1, 6, or 7. Note if this is 3 or 8, then this was only able to be 7. So if this cell isn't a 7, then that cell is a 9. Hey, Vish. I was trying to decide if there was a problem with these cells being a 3, 5, 9 triple. Because if these cells can't be a 3, 5, 9 triple, that cell's definitely a 3, 5, or 9. But I don't know that that even writing 3, 5, 9 in this cell would excite me an enormous amount. So people in chat are looking at if this is a 3 and this is a 4, then the sum of these cells needs to be a multiple of 3. Do I know what digit goes here in that instance? Uh, uh, correct, Fish. 9 would go there in that case. Blue would be 9. Right. Because blue, right. If this is 3, 4, remember the blue digit has to go down here somewhere. And so as soon as there's not a 6 on this white dot, that's a 9. And so if this is 3 and 4, then that's a 9. Conveniently, that makes that sum divisible by 3. So this sum just has to be divisible by 3. But this sum is already divisible by 3. So this number would have to be 6 or 9. And so these would be a 6, 9 pair. So if this is a 3, then we go 3, 4, 6, 9 pair here. Let's see. Are we just supposed to like write all of this in? That feels icky. 3, 4, 1, 4 is a 6, 9 pair. So 3 goes down there. That's a 9, we remember. So that's a 6 and a 9. I think the point might be about this sum being too big. That's why I'm writing this out. These are from 1 to 5. I thought someone said that this couldn't be a 3 because of the mod 3 stuff. So that's why I was writing it in. But I can't, even with writing in all of that, I still can't see it. Oh, we said it's not 6. Okay, so if this is a 6, then we'd be saying these cells have a sum divisible by 3. But that doesn't work because we already know these cells are divisible by 3 and 7 isn't. Okay, I agree this is not a 6. So this digit is odd, so this digit is even. Hey, Kurabon. Uh, 'couldn't blue just be 9 and make that a 9, Sweet Blues? I agree there's a virtual 4, 6 pair, so we can pencil mark this cell. Okay, so this cell is not 4 or 6. It's not 7. It's not 8. It's not 5. There's 1, 2, 3, or 9. 3 breaks 2 because 3 places a 2 here, which causes the problem we saw before because a 2 here makes that a 3. So this is not a 3. There's only 1, 2, or 9. It is true that if this is a 6, then that has to be a 3 or a 9, I guess, is one of the points. Uh, uh, but the max is only 29. So if this is a 6, Kurban is saying the minimum sum of these 6 cells is 45 minus 16, which is 29. Okay, so is it a priori obvious that if this is a 6 and this is a 5, that the 5 sum is the small one and the 6 sum is the big one? I don't think that's at all obvious, right? Like, assuredly, we have to case check that. I agree that that combination doesn't work, but I don't think it's a given that the bigger number gives you the bigger sum. Uh, uh, Okay, let's see. Sweet Blues says the 5 sum is always between 15 and 35. The 6 sum is always between 21 and 39. Uh, so, uh, right. So double the 6 sum can't be the 5 sum because double 21 is less than 35, or sorry, is more than 35. So I guess the upshot of all of this is that this is not a 6. So this is a 4, which makes that not a 4 or a 1. Makes that a 6, 9. 3, 5, 9. 3, 5, 4. Okay, so this sum is now either 20 or 21 are the only options. Blue is now 9, correct? So this can't be 6 anymore. I can get rid of the blue now. Yeah, 21 here would be a big problem. Because 21 would need to be doubled to 42, and there's no way I'm making this get to 42. So it has to be 20 instead. So that gives me all of those digits. Okay, so this is also a 3 or a 5, and so that is an 8. And this is a naked single of some description. It's a 6. So yeah, so 20, Vish now says, means I need to make this column sum to 10 or 40. And 40 is not possible, so it has to be 10, which means this has to be a 3. And these two are whatever they are. They are a 2 and a 5. Let's see. So these are 1, 2. Let's see. We're missing a 2 and a 3, I want to say. Let's see. Uh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, this is already 8. That would have helped. So these are 2, 3, 7. And if these are 2, 3, 7, then that makes that an 8 and a 4 and a 6. Okay. Okay, is there some combination? This being 7. Oh, no. 7 goes with 3. 6 goes with 9. Got it. Let's see. What is this triple? Yep, this is the first puzzle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is a 4. 3, 7 creates a 2, 3, 7 quadruple in the column. That is very cute. Yes, so this is a 9, 6. There's a 5 and a 9. Yeah, there was a modem related issue. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over down here. 7, 5, 6, 3. 5, 3, 7, 3, 2, 3, 2, 7, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a 1, 5, 4, 8, 1. 8, 4, 5, 6. These are 7 and 8, so that is an 8, and that is a 7. Whew. We survived. Barely. But we made it out of that one. Alrighty, I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with another puzzle of some sort. This was definitely not in the range. Like, this was not my kind of puzzle at all, but this was nowhere near the range of me not finishing the puzzle. We were not close to me calling it. I haven't quit many puzzles. I very nearly quit a tall cat puzzle the other day, but we were never sort of like so stuck that I was going to not finish the puzzle. But anyway, I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, what on earth happened? What? I am very confused. Why does this look bad? One moment. I'm gonna have to get Tristan to fix this. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I'll be right back. Tristan has fixed it, and we can see the puzzle again. Uh, Woohoo! Uh, Alrighty. So, I think we have come to the end of my indexing phase. So I talked for a while about how I was dreading the indexing phase, but this is, I think, the last indexing puzzle that I published, or nearly so. At the very least, at this point, I stopped publishing like 3 of them in a row. So this is actually one of the rule sets I came up with that I think I've seen the most people use. Because Shy set a puzzle with it that I think is fairly famous. Then Grockles uses it a lot. So this is just, I think people call them coordinate pills now. But it's just, if this is 2, 3, 5, this says that row 2, column 3 is a 5. So, well, that would be true. Row 2, column 3 would be a 5. As an example of how this works. So in addition to killer rules, we also have that each of the killer cages is a coordinate pill, so is an index or whatever you like. So we do know the 7 cage is certainly 1, 2, 4. Now. This can't possibly be the 4, because if this were the 4, then we'd have issues, because we would be saying where this digit is in row 4, but that's certainly not possible, because I can't be referencing this digit, because that would require a second 4, and that would not add to 7. This can't be a 4 either. For exactly the same reason, because this would be indexing this digit into column 4, but we know that this digit is here in column 4, so that doesn't work. And so therefore, this is a 4. And we get to bring out Zach for our 4 dance. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Welcome back, Paul Fly. I hope you had a good drive. So one of these 2 cells is a 4 now. We know. Let's see. Okay, so this is not 1, 2, 6. So I think that means this cage has a 3 in it, no matter what. We know this cage has an 8 in it. Or sorry, this 8 cage has a 1 in it somewhere. Let's see. In fact, as Sayori points out, actually, this digit is quite restricted because the largest digit you can put in an 8 cage is a 5, and this one's not 1, 2, or 4. So this digit is a 3 or a 5 for sure. So these are each from 1 to 4, actually, because it's either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4 to make that work. Let's see. Neither of these digits is a 6. That's certainly true. See, does this 10 cage need to have a 1 in it, or could it be 2, 3, 5? It might be able to be 2, 3, 5. Yeah, the 5 would be there, of course. Let's see. Erhan says the 8 cage can't have a 5. 5, 1, 2. Would put a 1 or a 2. Right. Okay, yep. Absolutely. So if this is a 5, then it puts a 1, 2 in one of these two cells. But we can't have a 1, 2 in one of those two cells because there's a 1, 2 pair in the box already. Okay, so that's a 3, which makes this a 3, 1, 4. So it's either 3, 1 is a 4, or 3, 4 is a 1. Well, 3, 4 isn't a 1. Sorry, that's not 3, 4. Sorry. It's either 3, 4 is a 1 or 3, 1 is a 4. Well, 3, 1 is not a... Why can I not index today? 3, 1 is there. 3, 4 is there. It's either saying this digit is a 4, which it's not because of our corner marked 4, or it is saying that this digit is a 1, which must be what's happening. Okay, well, now this is 2, 3, 5. And so the claims that it could not be 2, 3, 5 were much exaggerated because it doesn't have a 1 in it anymore. So the 2, 3 is there, or 3, 2. Well, 3, 2 is not 5 because 3, 2 would be there. So it is 2, it is 2, 3, 5, and so that is 2, 3. That's the 5. Okay, so if the 4 is here, that's a 6. For what it's worth, because of that 5 there. So I guess we can write in that these are either 1, 3, 5, or 2, 3, 4. And we know that's not a 1. Now, the point DWeb made is that 2, 3, 4 breaks the column, because if this is 2, 3, 4, now that is a 1, 2, which makes that a 4, and that's a second 4. So this can't actually be 2, 3, 4. That's a good observation. I have to say, this might be, of all the puzzles I've done on stream, this might be the puzzle I least have any recollection of doing any of this. This all feels like I've never thought about any of these things before. So that looks up there. So that's a 2 and a 1. And so row 2, column 1 is a 4. That means that's a 4. So this is a 6 because row 4, column 6 is the 5. So this 13 cage now has a 1 in it for the row. That's not there. And so then 2 digits is summed to 12. So it could be 39. In fact, it does have a 3 in it for the row as well. So actually it is 139. And that one is the 9 because of the 1, 3. And so this is either row 1, column 3 or row 3, column 1. One of those is a 9. Yes, and this is a pair. It is a 7 and an 8. I threw off Mark there because I hadn't put a 7 or an 8 into the puzzle yet. Okay. Interesting. Right. Where is the 9 in row 3, Vish points out. The 9 in row 3 has to be in box 1. And so, therefore, that's the one that's the 9. And so that is row 3, column 1, not row 1, column 3. Subsequent people who've made puzzles with this, by the way, have just not done the killer thing at all. They've just done pills, which is probably reasonable. A puzzle I've tried to make a million times, and probably the if I set an indexing puzzle, it will probably be this. I wanted to have 2 9x9 grids that both featured these pills, except the pills referred to the other grid. I have tried to set that puzzle like a bajillion times, and I think it will be cool someday. Okay. So it's being pointed out that 1 needs to go here just by sudoku. I also have tried to set an Elements of Sudoku 2 where there were 6 grids that all referenced, like the pill would actually have 4 digits and would say what grid, row, column, and then the number. But I haven't made much progress on that one. Let's see. There's definitely a 2 in this column for what it's worth. These are a 2-3 hidden pair is a good point, because 2 and 3 are ruled out of these 2 cells. So that's a 2 and that's a 3. And that makes these a something something. That makes these a 7-8 pair. Agree. Which makes these a pair as well, because they're not 3 or 5, they're not 1, and they're not 7 or 8. So in fact, that is a 9, and that's a 4. The 4 getting ruled out of there is spicy. Let's see. Okay, so there are various options here that we can sort of torture test. So if this digit is a 3, this would now say 513. So 513 would be there. I think that's okay. If this is a 5, this would be 315. That's not okay. So this can't be a 5. Likewise, we can do the same thing here. If this is a 3, that forces 531. That's not right. Oops. If this is a 5, it forces 3. Wait. If this is a 5, then this would be 351. 351 doesn't work either. So this can't be a 5, right? Because this would be 351. So this is a 1, a 3, and a 5. And so 5, 1, 3, I was just looking at the digits, David, that forced the entire cage. So this cell was a by value. So if I fixed either of these two, it would force the entire cage, so I could evaluate whether that possibility worked. That's why that's why I chose the ones that I did. So that's a 3, and so there's a 3 in the 17 cage. So it's 3 and 2 digits that add to 14. So 6, 8, or 5, 9. Well, not 5, 9, so it's 3, 6, 8. And I see now that neither of these can be 6, because this is in row 6 and column 6. You'll see I employed this trick a number of times in this puzzle, apparently. This diagonal is special because you can never index anything on this diagonal. So these can't be 6 is the point. So that is 6. Row 3, column 8, and row 8, column 3. One of those is a 6. Assuredly, if I was studying this puzzle now, one of these two cells would be interesting to say whether it was a 6 or not. But I don't think it's interesting now. This isn't a 6 for what it's worth. Let's see. Oops. There we go. Okay, let's see. One of these two is a 1. Well, it's not there. Because if this was a 1, it would require a double 9 in the cage in order to make the cage total work. So just by sudoku, 1's not in any of these, but by killer stuff, 1 isn't there. So 1 is definitely there. 4 is definitely here just by sudoku. These are a triple. 6, 7, 8, sure, why not? This digit's pretty big, isn't it? Let's see. This digit's at least a 7. So that means these two digits sum to at most 6. So these can't be 6, 7, 8, or 9. So these are from 2, 3, 5. And so one of these definitely has to be a 2 is how chat parses that out, because if there's no 2 here, then these would sum to 8. So one of them is a 2. Let's see. So no 5. 5, 2. Okay, so if this is a 5, in a similar way to this 9 cage, if this is a 5, then this is 5, 2, and 5, 2 would go with 6. However, row 5, column 2 is not a 6. Also, this cell can't be a 6. But other than that, there are other problems. So these are a 2, 3 pair. Which means that that's an 8. And so either row 2, column 3, or row 3, column 2 is an 8. Well, I can't put the 8 on top of the 5, so I have to put the 8 there. And that's row 3, column 2. That is going to plop in and resolve a bunch of by-value stuff. And now we probably just hit mark. Oh, sorry. Mark for the whole grid, probably. And so if we do that, let's see. That's a 2. These certainly aren't 4 or 6. These are 2, 5, and 8. Let's see. That becomes a 9 because of the 1, 7 pair. Let's see. One of those is a 7 for sure. Those aren't 9. That's not 9. That was maybe optimistic in terms of pencil marking. I'll be honest. This can't be a 1 because of the 19 cage. Because of that, that places the 1 here. So that is 171. No 7 there, no 7s there. Let's see. Oh, did I never actually index this? I sure didn't. Right. I don't know how I did that yet. So row 8, column 3 is a 6. That seems likely to be very helpful. Just looking at the digits that are involved. I was like, how can this puzzle possibly be over? But I'm sure this pill must just do it, which it would if I had actually filled in this pill. Okay, there we go. So no 8s there, no 6s there. No 6 there, no 6 there. Yes, so by Sudoku, there is a 4 in the cage. And so 4 plus 2 digits that add to 15 can either be 6, 9 or 7, 8, but they can't be 6, 9 because there's a 6 in the row. So these are 4, 7, 8. It's not an 8, of course. And that one's not an 8 either by the diagonal logic from earlier. So therefore that is an 8. 7, 8 goes over there. 2, 8. Let's see. Row 4, column 7 is an 8. Row 7, column 4 is definitely not an 8. So it's got to be saying that row 4, column 7 is an 8. Oops, row 4, column 7 is an 8. So that goes 6, 9, 5, 2, 4, 6, 9, 7, 9, 5, 7, 2, 5, 2, 9, 4, 6, 8, 7, 6, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 3. That was a quickie. That was actually not that was not so bad. Alrighty, I am going to take a quick stretch though, and I'll be back in a moment with more puzzleage. So see you all in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. Jay celebrating their pink windmill, excellent, for 24 months. When we had these like icons made, uh, there are sort of 24 months worth of upgrades. So Jay has been the second person I've seen to hit the maximum. Uh, Paul Fly at 6 months. Uh, although got it as a gift, although Paul Fly has given out gift subs, I believe. Paul Fly also donates and asks if I'm open for bribery for more indexing, as in like bribery to make more indexing puzzles or bribery to solve more indexing puzzles. I'm probably quite bribable if I'm honest, but we shall see. But thank you very much for the donation, and thank you for the support. Let us get you all a donation dance. Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Wee! Woohoo! Thank you, Zach. All right. So this is a region sum lines puzzle. So each of these lines sort of passes through a bunch of boxes. And each box that it passes through, I mean, some of them only pass through two. But each box it passes through, what this statement is saying is that they need to have the same sum for each group of cells. So, for example, these two one cell sums are the same. So these are just outright the same digit. Whereas these two orange cells, they certainly have to sum to green. The two yellow cells also have to sum to, the three yellow cells have to sum to green, and the two red cells do. So that is how to read one of these clues. I think it is probably reasonable to mark off with a color the one cell ones that exist that we know are the same. Let's see. Unfortunately, I know these two are the same, but I don't know if they're green or not. I know one of these two cells is green, for what it's worth. I do know because this cell is a sum of 6 digits. I know it's from 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, a sum of 3 digits is from 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's certainly not a 7. Now, can it really be 6? Is a question. If it were 6, this would have to be 4, 5. I don't know that that's a problem, but it is a thing of note. Let's see. This is a 3-cell sum, so this is also a 6, 7, 8, 9, because this is the sum there. Let's see. Nicholas has also identified that this cell... Oh, sorry. This is not one of the cells that Nicholas identified. Sorry. Nicholas has a few more for me. This one is from 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's also not a 7. Let's see. The ones Nicholas identified were this one is also from 6, 7, 8, 9. And that one is also from 6, 7, 8, 9. This could well have been on CTC. I didn't actually check. Let's see if I hit refresh. I think it'll tell me. Yes, this was on CTC. This puzzle's old, so I wasn't too worried about it. If I want to do a puzzle, but I see that Cracking the Cryptic has already done it, then I usually wait a little bit to do it. Unless I really want to do it, in which case then I just say screw it. But it all works out. Let's see. Aha! This is also 6, 7, 8, 9 because of the 15 trick. Which is that if you have any 5 cells in a grid that see each other, then the sum is a minimum of 15. And so because these 5 cells have the same sum as these 2 cells, that means that this cell has to be at least also 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, or Nicholas says if I look far enough down, then I don't have to do that. Uh, I could also look further. Uh, my looking is not always the best. Uh, let's see. This 6, 7, 8, 9 is definitely in this row. Oh, it's in this row and it's not this one. Okay. I should be circle Xing this. Because this cell, which could still be green, I suppose, uh, this cell definitely goes into one of those two cells for whatever it's worth. Uh, uh, those are equal. Those are equal. I'm trying to dissect Ambrose's point. Uh, uh, because it has to go into box 8 is the answer to Paul Fly's point. And so it can't repeat on its own line. It can't go there. And it's not that digit. So we have that. Oh, I apparently did my equalities wrong. This is that. These three are those three. This is those three. So the point is this pair have the same sum as this pair, which means that this is red circle. Okay. That is handy if I do that correctly. If I sort of chase the waves through here. So just to articulate that, the quantities that I have summed here now are the same. So therefore the leftovers are the same. Okay, so red circle is not 7, and red circle is not green either. So yeah, so red circle gets promoted to regular red because it's now not green. So red isn't... Red shows up on this line, right? That line is not related to green, I don't believe, in box 5. Green is just placed in box 4. That's true. Good spot to Emma. Green goes there. Okay, and remember, yeah, this 6, 7, 8, 9 shows up over there. So this could be green, but if it is, then that means the other digit here is the sum of those two, which is possible. These digits are all at most 6. Okay, I know red is down here somewhere. Just by using Sudoku. So red's down here somewhere. So red's over in one of these two somewhere. Right. Red is in one of these two cells. So red in box 6 is in one of these two cells. Uh, right. Okay. So yeah. So there's this bizarro trick that Selena points out that we see a lot in these. So these two sum to green plus red. Sorry, these 5 cells sum to green plus red. So if one of them is green, that's saying the other 4 sum to red. But the other 4 can't sum to red because 4 digits sum to at least 10. So therefore, green can't go on any of these lines. It certainly can't go on its own line, but the thing that we're using here is that green can't go in these cells either. So in fact, Selena's point is that these are, this is actually a green-red pair, or as it has turned out here, a green-white-gray pair, if you prefer. So we have that. Okay, and so now Sayori points out that means there's a 7 in one of these cells, which means these cells now sum to 17 exactly, because the minimum sum now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, which is 17, which is also the maximum. So red, green are an 8, 9 pair, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. That one's not 7. These are an 8, 9. And so these are a 6 and a 5. Oh, by the way, remember, everywhere these are 8, 9, not just there. Okay. Would be awfully difficult to put 7 in a 3-cell sum to 8 or 9. It's being purported by chat. I did enough math in the last puzzle, so I'll leave it to you to verify that you can't fit 7 in a 3-cell sum. So we need the 3 and the 4 down here. And of course, alternatively, you can't put the 3 or the 4 with the 7 because the sum would be too big. I'll even verify that one for you. So we have that. So this is 1, 2, or sorry, this is a 1 or a 2, right? Okay. Yes, okay. AFK points out that we've got a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple, so we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, we have a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quintuple, so we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. And there we go. Green is placed in box 7 is smart. Actually, wait, do I know that green is placed in box 7? I'm not 100% sure that I do. Green is certainly in one of these two. Oh, right. Green can't be row 7, column 3, because if green is row 7, column 3, green is 8 or 9. That would make this cell 9, but it can't be because it would see red in that instance. So green actually is here. That's very clever. Let me go over that again, just in case you didn't see that. So if I ask where green goes in box 7, naively, there's 2 places. But if I make this an 8 or a 9, that becomes a 9. But now this red cell sees an 8, 9 pair is the point. So this cell is in fact the green 8, 9, which means there is actually a green on this line here. Let's see. Let's see. If this were an 8, there would definitely be a 1 down here. Certainly the 7 in this row is over here for what it's worth. Probably not a lot, if I'm being honest. That's probably the 7. Red can't go there for sure. Let's see. I don't think I see why red can't go in any of these other cells. Red in box 2 is the point here, because red definitely can't go in any of those cells. So red is one of these two. And so then when you have that now, red is certainly in one of these two cells. Let's see. But this line has a single digit sum. And so if I put this digit here, the minimum sum would be 8 plus 1, 2 would be 11. That's too big. So that doesn't work. So that is the red. So that's not the red. So that is the red. So those are 8 9s. Let's see. Look at red plus row 4, column 6 in box 6. So that's red. That's row 4, column 6. If I trace these down to box 6, oh, no, sorry, that's not red. Sorry, that's red. That's row 4, column 6. There we go. So this cell, these two sum to red. Whatever this is, they show up there. So these would normally sum to a minimum of 15, but actually they're missing a 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually they sum to a minimum of 17. So that means this has to be green because 17 is the only thing they can sum to. Right. So again, just to do that, whatever this cell is, I'm going to temporarily make it orange, although it's going to turn out it's green. Orange plus red are these 5 cells. And you can ask yourself what the minimum sum these 5 cells could be. They can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, because that would break this cell. So they could be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. But 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 is 17. So these two cells need to sum to at least 17, but they're different because I know that this isn't red. So this needs to be 8 or 9, which then makes it green. And in order to even make that work at all, I needed to make this a 4. And so we actually needed these to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So we got that all working out. And so therefore, these two cells are from 7, 8, 9. Okay, so okay, so there's some math stuff to be done over there for sure. Oh, wow, was that our digit dance? That was our digit dance. Oh, boy, I didn't even notice. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So these cells also sum to 17, is what Ambrose is pointing out, I think. But there are a few different ways they could sum to 17, I believe. Let's see. Green. Okay, so Ambrose's point is these cells sum to 17, but Ambrose's point is, and therefore these cells aren't green, because if I throw a green in, the minimum sum would be 18. And so in fact, these are green and red. And so there is a green over here now. Making this green is slightly suspicious, but it might work out fine. I do now have green and red marked in every box for what it's worth. Right. Okay. So 7 is not here anymore because of the fact that these two cells sum to the non-green digit in these two cells. Because basically, we have an equality of sums here that you can cancel green out of both sides to get that the white digit here sums to the sum of these two white digits. But the white digit is neither green nor red. So the white digit down here is at most 7. So I can't have a 7 in the sum. So there's a 7 in one of these three cells because I have to put one in row 5. But you can't put a 7 in either of these two cells because these three cells would then sum to a minimum of 7 plus 1 plus 2 is 10. That's not going to work. And therefore, that digit out of nowhere is a 7. I agree with that statement. And I know there's a 7 on this line, actually. And so what that means is that actually the white digit here is the same because of the fact that these two sums are equal. Well, I can cancel the 7s. Oh, that means this digit's a 4, right? So sorry, I did my math wrong originally. The 7s cancel, the reds cancel, therefore there's a 4 here. And so there's a 4 over down here somewhere. Let's see. Don't I just know that these two sum to 11? How do I know that one of them is 7? I think I know that these two sum to 11, but I don't think I know which way they sum to 11. Okay, so there's interesting math to be done in this box. So red plus green we know sums to 17. So these have a sum of 17, plus those have a sum of 17 because they are red plus green. So that's 34. So therefore these two cells sum to 11. And they're not 2, 9, and they're not 3, 8, and they're not 4, 7 anymore. So now they are 5, 6, which is a beautiful spot. Really nice setting too, actually. Which makes these from 1, 2, 3, 4. And so now 7 in box 2 now. Now that I've got that 5, 6 pair, and I know those two aren't 7 because these two are an 8, 9 pair, that now puts 7 down here, which now means that we know. Oh, I guess we already knew that these were from 1, or these were 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and those aren't 7. But the 7 certainly goes with a 1 or a 2. In order to make that that work. Okay. Oh, I don't know why I don't have a 7 there. Yeah, so there's a 7 up here somewhere. But it can't be there because this sums to green. This is really late for me to realize that I should be doing this. Wait, no. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to mark this line sums to green so that my brain can see that. This line sums to red so that I can see that. This line also sums to red. This line also sums to green, just so that I can mentally have all of that. And so in particular, oh, this line is green. Right, sorry, this line is green. That was actually the one I needed. The one I did not color was the one I needed. Because now I need to place 7 in this box, and it can't go here by Sudoku, but it can't go on the green line, because then the green line would again sum to at most 10. So this is 1, 2, 7. But it's a different 1, 2 from this 1, 2. So these two cells don't involve a 1, 2 at all, for what it's worth. Which makes them from 3, 4, 5, 6. But they need to sum to 11, right? Remember, these two sum to 11. And if they need to sum to 11, they just have to be 5, 6 in order to make that work. Okay. Okay. I keep trying to find something that sees this 1, 2 pair that's interesting, but I don't think it is. I don't think there is anything. These digits now aren't from 1, 2, 3, 4. For what it is worth. Definitely involve a 3 and a 4 in some capacity. These are also from 1, 2, 3, 4, is being pointed out because they also see this 5, 6 pair, as well as the 7, 8, and 9. And so this sum is a minimum of 14. And so if these are a maximum of 7 and this sum is a minimum of 13. Minimum of 13. 5 plus 8. These two sum to a maximum of 7. So this needs to be at least 6. So this is 6, 8, or 9. Uh, oh, it can't be 6 for a very cute reason, which is that if this cell is 6, that cell is 6. Right. So yeah, there's a degree of freedom lost in this 5-6 pair that's really cool. Uh, because of the fact that this being 6 sort of forces that up so sort of like you're eating a degree of freedom through Sudoku in an interesting way. So this actually can't be 6, which means it has to be green, which means this isn't. Which now means that this is red, so this is green. This is now 7 because it's not red, and this is red. And this is also 7. Okay, so this is going to be the green circle 1, 2. This is the 1, 2 that adds to green with 7. I don't actually have anywhere. I know it's the same one as that one for what it's worth. But I don't think I know anything more than that. Yeah, this is the kind of puzzle that you kind of wonder, like, exactly, like, was this set like one line at a time, or was this set like sort of slowly iterate the pattern, understanding the sort of consequence of the patterns, and then eventually sort of experiment until the patterns give you the full logical path that you're looking for? Uh, these cells can't be 1, points out AFK, because I can't sum to enough if they are 1. I agree with that. That 5-6 in this box just goes here for what it is worth. Not a whole lot, I suspect, but you never know. Let's see. 2, 7 there. So Kyle's point is that you can't use a 2 here, because if you use a 2, then it has to be 2, 6. I don't quite see what that breaks up, though. Uh, 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 let's see. Row 4 has a red segment. Oh, a red segment, a green segment, a red, a green, and a 4. So Sayori's doing math. So these sum to 18, plus another 18 plus 4 is 21. So 17 plus 21 is 38. And so therefore these sum to it's not 18, it's 17 because it's 8, 9. So these two sum to 7, right? Because we do 45 minus 38. So these two sum to 7. And so this is from 4, 5, 6. And it's not 4. So this is from 5, 6. And this isn't a 3. So that's a 1, 2. Let's see. Garian's point is row 5, column 1 can't be 6. Because, yes, 6, 1 is already too big because this can't be 7. The white digit is not 7, 8, or 9. So I agree this is not 6. So where does the 6 go in row 5? Either there or there. But Garian's point is both of those things are green lines of length 3. So that must be 1, 2, 6 summing to 9, which is a very nice observation. And so therefore, no matter which of the sides the 6 is on, green is always 9. So let us pull up just those. Green is 9, and then red is 8. Very nice. Okay, so one of these is a 1. So this is not a 1. So it's 2, 7. These two sum to 8, so there's no 2 up there. Or if you remember, the 1, 2 here and the 1, 2 here were different. So either way you want to do it. So there's my 2, 3, 4. There's my 1, 3, 4. Okay, this is a 3-cell 9 sum without a 4, so I guess there's options. This is a 3-cell 9 sum without a 4, so there's also options. Excuse me. This is an 8. Oh, right. Sorry. This is just a 2, just because 9 is 2 plus 7. That's probably the easier way to do this. Let's see. There's a 5, 6 up there, I suppose. Let's see. One of these is definitely a 4, so that's not a 4. One of these is a 7. One of these two is a 7. Aha. Yes, one of these two is a 7, and it's a part of a 2-cell sum to 9. So these are a 2, 7 pair, which makes that a 1. Makes that a 3 and a 2. So these are either 2, 6 or 3, 5. Those are the two options. That is no longer a 2. That is no longer a 2. So this now sums again to a minimum of 13. So this needs to be at least 2. It's not 1 anymore. It's a 3 or a 4. For whatever that is worth. That 2 looks at that cell. So these can't be 2, 6. They have to be 3, 5. Which does indeed make that 6 and that 2. Thank you. There we go. I got that. Let's see. Okay, so this 1, 7 pair, Selena points out, places the 1 in this box, which gives me a 4 and a 1 down here. No 1 there, no 1 there. This is probably a 3 or a 5 now, if I were to ask Mark. Let's see. This 3, 5 pair looks at this cell. Good. So that is a 6, 2, 3. So these, oh, sorry, these are a 4, 8 pair, right? I already knew that. That's just what the coloring tells me. This isn't a 4 because there's a 4 up there. It's a 3-cell sum to 9 that definitely has a 1 in it for what it's worth. It could be 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. I don't think it makes much difference. Let's see, pencil mark row 5. So 1, 3, 5. Okay, so if I have 2 of 1, 3, 5, I have to have the third 1, 3, 5 is the point, because 1, 3, and 5, the triple sums to 9. So if I use 2 of them, I have to use the third. So the 5 is here. That makes these a 2, 6. Good spot to Ambrose on that. I love that trick. So can fill in these digits. They're certainly not 2 for lots of reasons. Let's see, if this were a 1, 3, this would be 4 and green. I think it can be 4 and green, unfortunately. I don't see why it can't be. Let's see. One of these two is a 7, but who knows which one. If that's a 7, these are a 1, 6 pair for what it's worth. If I don't make either of these a 1, the minimum sum is 7, but I can't fit a number as high as 7 as the white digit here. So one of them is 1. So neither of these are 1. I don't unfortunately know if that does anything, but it was a good observation nonetheless. I guess I know one of these two is 6 for what it's worth. One of these needs to be a 1, actually. That's very helpful. One of these needs to be a 1, because if it's not, the 2 and 3 are gone, so this would be a minimum 4, 5. But that would make this a minimum of 9, which would be fine, except that there's an 8 and a 9 looking at it. So one of these is a 1, which gives us a Zackwing on 1s, ruling 1 out of this cell, making that a 1, making that a 1. 5, there we go. That is not a 1, apparently. This sum now has a 1 in it. So it is either... so it doesn't have a 4 in it. Because a 3-cell 9 sum, there's only one 3-cell 9 sum with a 4, and it's 2, 3, 4. And that one doesn't have a 1 in it. So that's a 2, 3 pair that looks up and makes that a 4, a 3, a 5, a 3, a 6, 5 and 6, 5 and 4, 3. That was a whole bang of digits right there. I don't think that's an expression, but we can pretend. Okay. Oh no, Sayori thinks there's a line that I haven't filled in yet, but that I could do the math on, and God knows where it is. Let's see. Definitely a 1 up here. Okay, I know where the 6 is in this box. I guess that's the point. 6 can't join this because that would make this... oh, no, this could be a 7. Sorry, never mind. This could be a 7. This just can't be an 8 or a 9. Oh, it's this line. That is 14 is 6 plus 8. So that is red and that isn't. So that is red and that isn't. 8, 9. I told you I would never find it. So that is for 8 over there. And so we've got all of those placed. And there's a 4 in one of these places. But I know that's not the 4 because I already said that, right? The 4 doesn't join the 1. So the 4 is actually placed here, which means it's not green. It means that is green, and hence it's a 9. And so now this needs to be 1, 3 to make that work. This is a triple, of which that is a 5. 1, 6, 7. 2, 7, 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, 5, 1, 6, 7, 1, 2, 7, 4, 2, 7. And we can mark the rest of the group. I didn't mean to spend the rest of the grid. We can mark the rest of the grid. 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, and so now the 2 goes with 1, 6, which makes that a 5 and a 6 and a 5, and a 1 and a 6, and a 3 and a 1, and a 5 and a 3. That was very nice. Definitely one of those puzzles that I have a hard time imagining setting, but very cool. Very, very nice. Alrighty. I am going to take a short break, and I'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty. I probably should have negotiated the terms of the bribe before agreeing to do the bribe, but I suppose I will do this psycho indexing puzzle by Paul Fly. We'll place the digits 0 through 6 in every row, column, and box, and the extra region exactly once each. To accomplish this, there are 6 cells in the grid that contain 2 digits called Schrödinger cells. A digit in a red cage N points to a digit in box N that is in the same relative position in the box. For example, a 4 in row 6, column 3. Row 6, column 3 doesn't have a cage in it. A digit in a red cage. That's not in a red cage. So row 4, column 6. Are we saying like a 4 here would point to the 4 in box 4? Is that what we're trying to say? I think. The number in the top left of the cage gives the sum of the digits in all the cells being pointed to. For purposes of this, the extra region will count as 0. How could I possibly get to 22? Can't I only put 2 digits in this cell? Or in this? Digit in a red cage. Digit in box N. Oh, it can index S cells. Right. Okay, so right. It can index S cells. So it'll have to index... It will have to itself be an S cell that indexes 2 S cells. So it can point to 2, 5, 6 S cells. Right. Okay, so this is itself an S cell that points at 2 S cells, and that will get you to exactly 22. Okay. We're off to the races at least a little bit. So this is an S cell. Okay. This could be an S cell, but it can't point at an S cell, funnily enough. Okay. Let's see. So do I know anything about anything here? Now, I suppose it could be the case that this is a 5,6S cell. No, it can't be that this is a 5,6S cell. Because if this were a 5,6S cell, the other cell it would point at would be over there. And that's not going to work. But I think I agree with Josh. Okay, there's only actually 2 places that this could... Wait. Oh, right. One of them has to be 0. Right. There's only 3 places that this could be pointing at an S cell. And so one of them has to be 0. So this cell is a 5,6S cell. I'll put like a little circle there just to indicate that this is definitely an S cell. One of the digits here is a 0. I guess I don't really need the circle. It just is an S cell. and we can gray out some stuff. Oh, and actually, that now actually tells me the other one has to be a 2, because that sort of knocked out this possibility. So this is a 2, and that's also a 5,6S cell in order to make this possibly work. Okay, so apparently this cell is an S cell now. Okay. So, now I'm looking for where this is going to go. And it's not going to go here, here, or here, because none of those cells can sum to 6. It's not going to point at itself, because this cell can't sum to 6. And it's not going to point at that, because that's not going to sum to 6. So in fact, this is going to be a 3 pointing at a 6 there. I believe, if I did that correctly. I also thought that was what we were talking about, Ambrose. Yeah, S cells were so long ago. We're almost at my S cell puzzles in the doing the puzzles of Zeta's past thing. We're like a couple we're a couple puzzles away from doing Arsha and from me screwing up Kodama, because I make the mistake that everyone made when they did Kodama. Okay. I mean, I guess I can corner mark that there's definitely a 5 in one of these two cells for what it's worth. Where is this 0 referencing? I guess it could be there. Could be there. Could be there. Could be there or there. Okay, I think there's lots of places it could be. Maybe I should fill in this triple. So these are 1, 4, 5. So if this is a 1, that's okay. If this is a 4, that's funnily enough not okay, because if this is a 4, it puts a second 4 in the column. If this is a 5... then it puts a 4 there. That's probably... No, sorry. If this is a 5, it puts a 4 on top of itself. That's also probably not okay. So I think this is a 1, that's a 4, and that's a 5. Oh, am I wrong? Did I not index that correctly? Oh, because that's box 4. Still can't be a 5, though. I thought it was a problem when my box 4 and box 5 were in the same column. That didn't sound right to me. Paul Fly is correct. That is a problem. So this being a 5 is a problem, because it would put a 4 on top of itself. So that's not going to work. So one of these two is 4, if you look at it closely. So therefore, this cell's not 4. Because this cell sees both of those. Okay. This cell, if I write it in, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. It is not 1, because that cell is not a 2. It's not 2, because that cell couldn't be a 2 if this cell was a 2. It's not 3, because that cell's not a 2. And it could be 4. So one of these two is a 2. I'm trying to think of something to do with that, but I do not know yet. This 8 is interesting because it has to point at an S cell. And so the only S cells it could point at are there, or there, and there. There it would have to be a 3, 5. There I'm not quite so sure. What about this 0? I should just candidate mark all of these because why not, right? So let's do the 0 next. So the 0 can't point there. Can't point here. Oh, could it point at box 0? It could point at box 0, but it can't point at box 1. Can't point at box 2. Could point at box 3. Could point at box 4. Could not point at box 5, but could point at box 6. So that one I think has a lot of options. This is going to have far fewer because it can't point at box 0 or box 1 or box 2. Could point at box 3. Can't point at box 4 or 5. Could point at box 6. And 3 doesn't work for the pretty hilarious reason that if this is a 3, this can't be 3, 5, or 2, 6. So therefore, this has to be a 6, which means that these are my last 2 S cells. These are not S cells. And that 6 now tells me that this is a 3, 5 because it can't be 2, 6. And so that 3, 5 looks up and tells me that there's definitely a 5 in this S cell and some other digit. Oh, this is certainly not a 6 because there's already a 6 in the box. For what it's worth. You can tell it's been a little bit since I did S cell stuff because I didn't immediately see that. I'm going to uncenter mark this 5 just for my sanity, if for no other reason. Let's see. Okay. 5 and 6, just this 5, 6. Where do 5, 6 go in this box? This 5, 6 are just placed as a hidden pair here. And the 5, 6 is resolved by this 3, 5. So that's 6 and 5. Let's see. One of these is a 6. My username isn't lit up for him like it is for me. I sometimes forget about that when I'm talking in chats as well. Row 2, column 1 very much sees a 5. That is a good point. We could have seen that a long time ago. So that 1, 4 pair there makes that a 5. Oh, was D-Web saying something? Okay. If this is a 1, that's a 4, and if this is a 4, this is a 4, that's a 4. I wasn't intentionally slighting D-Web, I promise. 0, 3, 4. This 6 is placed, if I remember that this is an S cell. If this were a 4, that would be a 4. This 2 places a 2 there is part of Selena's point, I believe. 0 or 4. So one of those 2 is a 2. So neither of these 2 cells can be a 2. There's a 3 here as well. So these 2 cells are just a 1, 4 pair, I guess. Oh, actually, now we can just do the 0. The 0 is just placed here now. So the 0 there tells me that there is a 2 here. Okay, this is still 1 or a 4, and that still doesn't tell me anything. 0 here, 3 would put a 0 there, 4 would put a 0 there. All good. 2 in row 2 gets placed there. 2 gets placed up there. 2 gets placed there. I think that's all the 2s. Let's see. This column is missing 0, 1, 3, 4. For what it's worth, that's not a 3. Row 2, column 5 being 0 rules 0. Cute. Rules 0 out of box 4. Very nice. So yeah, if this is 0, that's 0, but that crisscrosses all the places for 0 in box 4. So this can't be 0. This is now 3 or 4, which means one of those two is 0, so this certainly isn't. So now this is 2 of those 3 values for what it's worth. Let's see. We got the 6 there. Yeah, so 0 in row 2 is definitely in the cage, so this is not a 0, because one of these 2 is definitely a 0 now. I'm afraid to say this because I fear it will lead to more indexing puzzles, but this is actually a very cute idea, particularly the using this as box 0. Anyway, this is a 1 or a 4. If this is a 4, that's a 3. Is that a problem? If this is a 4, that's a 3. Which would make that the 0. Okay, these are a pair. Let me fill them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are a 1, 4 pair. Sorry. I had thought this fulfilled itself either way. I had somehow internalized. I had somehow deeply internalized that box 5 and box 4 were the same box. Some sort of like S cell issue. Oh God, now I have a horrible idea that it is a psycho killer puzzle, but you have to deduce the names of the boxes. I am upset with myself for thinking of this. Okay, so 3 there points at a 0 there. Let's see. So that's a 1 just by sudoku. So that's a 0. That is a 1 just by sudoku. So that's a 4 and a 1. Let's see. Okay, so these are 0 and 4. Sure are. Oops. So I'll write 1 and 3 in there just to keep everyone on their toes. So this is a 0 or a 4. Except it's looked at by the 4 in the cage. So that is a 0 and a 4 and a 0. This is a 1, 3, or 4. It's not a 3. It's not a 3, and so therefore the 3 in this row is definitely in this cell, which means it's not there, which makes that a 4, which actually makes this just a 1, 3. The last digit that's missing in this cage, there. That's right. This is a 5, but it's a 5 with a 1, I believe. 2, 3, and this is a 4. Very nice, Paul Fly, actually. This is taking a crazy idea and implementing it in a very tame and polite way. I actually, I think that this is how you do puzzles with crazy ideas, is to take the crazy idea and then implement it in a way that is at least a little bit gentle. So I think this was actually a great execution on this idea. Let's see. Wait, I thought the bribe was after I finished the puzzle. You can't give someone you give someone like the beginning and then you bribe them afterwards. I thought that was how bribes worked. Let's see. We can probably do another 6x6 though. Let's see. 9x9 deconstruction with this. Wonderful. That sounds excellent for all involved. I'm pretty sure that Kristen A has been working on an S cells deconstruction. It takes a crazy idea and implements it in a way that can be solved by a human in a week. I think there's definitely space for puzzles that can be solved by a human in a week. God knows how much Space Chem I have played. Thank you, Paul Fly. I got the back half of the bribe. Let's get you a donation dance. Woohoo! Woohoo! The first bribery dance that Zach has done, but hopefully not the last. But yeah. I played an awful lot of Space Chem, which definitely involved a lot of puzzles that took me, like, maybe not quite a week, but many, many, many hours. But probably not probably not the best for stream to have puzzles. Like there's sort of an optimal, like there's this like weird sort of not quite the same thing between like what I would view as a solver if I was what I would like as a solver if I was solving separately versus if I'm solving on stream. And they're not quite the same. They're very similar, of course, because obviously I want to have fun solving puzzles on stream because I think it's more fun for you if I like the puzzles. But they're sort of like more... Like, stream wants there to be a little bit less downtime in puzzles, whereas, like, I'm less... It's less awkward for me to sit in a room and think by myself for 10 minutes than it is for me to sit quietly and think to myself for 10 minutes while streaming. And, of course, there's things like the one giant agent Sudoku Slitherlink puzzle that's just, like, incredibly tiny on screen that I don't think I can do on stream, even though I think I would really enjoy it. But that I think would be like completely unfollowable. So there's interesting things, and I think the sort of 5-star-ier puzzles I think tend to like stream worse. Although, as has very often been pointed out, 5-star on LMD is a really wide range, and I think the low 5s can make really good stream puzzles, but then the high 5s, yeah, there's the delayed. We'll see if we can up the delay to just make it even more comical. I bet there's an option in Streamlabs to make it so the donation pops up a little bit later, just for extra fun. Let's see. We can do another 6x6 while I wax philosophical. I mean, it's pretty easy. I see that there's a Renbon black dot puzzle, and I'm pretty much going to do it. So here's our Renbon black dot puzzle of the day. So we have this black dot living on a 3-cell Renbon. So it can be 2-4, but it certainly can't be 3-6. So Oh, wow, that's already adorable. So this digit's always a 3 regardless. Because if this is 1, 2, then this is a 3. And if this is 2, 4, then that's a 3. How have I done so many Renbon black dot puzzles and I've never actually seen that exact deduction before? I'm surprised. So we've got that. These digits. Okay, so this Renbon needs a 3, but I don't quite know which one it is. But these are 3, 4, 5. Oops. So this cell in particular is not 3, 4, or 5. This is 1, 2, or 6. I guess I can say with some certitude. One of these is a 5, and the other is a 1 or a 4, for what it is worth. This can't be a 1, though. Oh, maybe it can, actually. I was thinking that this being an extreme Renbon was going to clash with this, but I actually think I just know that they're not both extreme Renbon. Like, if this has a 1 on it, this definitely can't have a 6 on it, for example. But I don't think it's quite as big of an instant issue as I was thinking that it might be. Okay. So Sayori has a good spot, which is that this digit has to go in box 5 somewhere, and it's not on the Renbon. So it's on this, it's on a Renbon, but not the same Renbon that it's already on. So this Renbon has a 4 or a 5 on it, so that's definitely not a 1. Which, funnily enough, makes this a 3, 4, or 5, which makes this a 1, 2 pair, which is an insane thing to have happen. So these are from 1, 2, 3, 4. This one can't be a 1, though, because if this is a 1, that's a 2, and this has no value. I don't know how I've internalized that pattern, but somehow I have. In fact, this Renbon is always needing a 3, and the 3 can only go there, Sven has kindly pointed out, which has made that be a 3 for multiple reasons. This can't be a 4 anymore, actually, because it's got a 4, 5 pair looking at it. I always enjoy that. In fact, this cell has a 4, 5 pair looking at it as well, so this can't be a 4 either. So we've got all of that. This cell goes here as well. So these are from 3, 4, 5. So these are from 1, 2, 3. Sorry, not 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 6. I suppose. These are from 1, 2, 4, 5, if I just look at the roping. And so this had better be a 4, 5 pair, or we've got a problem. Because it can't be 1, 2, because there's not both a 1 and a 2. So those are 4, 5. That's 1, 2. That gives me a 4, 5 pair there, which makes these 1, 2, 6 up there. Okay. Six here doesn't work, because if this is a 6, then this is 4, 5. This is the geometry I was talking about before, because if this is a 6, this will be 4, 5, 6. That'll make these 4, 5, 6, except that's a 1. And so now 1 is on a Renbon with 2 4, 5s, and 6s. So yeah, the comment that I made that these can't both be extreme rules 6 off of that, because it would actually make them both extreme. So this is a 1 or a 2, which makes these from 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means that the 6 over here is certainly in one of these cells. So not on this Renbon in particular. So now this Renbon needs a 3, Sayori points out, because this Renbon, the only way it was going to ever not have a 3 was for it to be 4, 5, 6. But now it's not 4, 5, 6, so it needs a 3, and the 3 is here. Uh, so we've got that. Okay. I was trying to decide if this broke, if this was something like 4 or 2 or something. Uh, I mean, I know that this digit's also small, right? Because I know that this digit is up here. Uh, there's something. My brain is like just barely putting this together. So if these are a 2-4 pair, I'm not quite sure. Okay. This digit can't possibly be a 6. Because if this digit is a 6, it makes this digit a 1 or a 2 because you can't repeat a digit on a renbon. And then you run into a real problem, which is that those two are too far apart. So this is always a 6, which makes that not a 6, which makes this a 6. And so now there is a 6 in column 4 here. And so now that's not a 3, so that is. And this is the other 4, 5. And so this digit's not a 4 because it sees a 4, 5 pair. That digit's not a 3. So this digit is the 3 because this renbon needs a 3. There's no way that this renbon does not get a 3. I was going to argue that in a way that was way more complicated, but fortunately you were spared my arguing because I figured out that it was not quite as complicated as that. This is not a 6 because 3 and 6 are too far apart to renbon each other. So that is a 6. So that's a 6, and it's the last 6, I think. So now this is a 1 or a 2, and the 1-2 pair looks up there, making that a 4, 5 and 4, 5 and 4, 4 and 5, 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 1 and 5, 4 and 5, 2 and 1 and 2. And now these are, let's see, this has got to be the one for the box by Sudoku. That is a 5. And now probably this renbon should not be a 1-1-3 renbon, because that would put 3 odd numbers on a renbon, and renbon need to only have either an equal number of evens and odds or off by 1 evens and odds. So it can't possibly be a 3-0 break. So this can't be a 1 because that would be too many odds. So there we go. That was very lovely by Polando. It lived up to my hopes of a renbon black dot puzzle. Just what I like to see. For those of you who have been around only more recently, I've often sort of given my like tier list of how much I like common Sudoku constraints and how good I think they are, and I think black dot and renbon are the two goated standard Sudoku constraints. Like I think the two of them are like nearly unlimited in what you can do with them and how useful they are and what sorts of neat things you can do with them. Of course, white dots sort of get like whisked in by virtue of being bargain bin purple lines. But what can you expect? Who knows? Maybe someday there will be a third goat tier constraint. Maybe I'll do that tier list again sometime, because I think it's been over a year since I last did the like actual tier list of Sudoku constraints. Maybe I'll do it on stream again sometime. I don't think there are any. I'm trying to think if there's any like things that have become standard in the time since then that I would list. Well, thank you, AFK. I'm glad. That's right. Zippers definitely weren't there. I do enjoy zippers. Zippers get you to sort of thing. Yeah, 10 lines sort of I remember counting circles. That's true. Counting circles have sort of become a thing since then. It was when Memerister did a setter interview with me. He asked if there were any puzzles that I had made that I was or that I had hoped would catch on but hadn't. And I'd at that point made only one 10 lines puzzle, and I said I'd sort of hoped those would catch on. And then in order to help facilitate them catching on, I then proceeded to make a whole bunch more 10 lines puzzles. So now I've probably set like 10 lines puzzles. Also, welcome to the new subscriber. Sorry, I tried to read your name off the other screen, but I missed it. But anyway, welcome. Feel free to introduce yourself. Parody Party was definitely, but Parody Party predates me, I think. I think Parody Party puzzles are older than me doing Sudoku puzzles. It's true. I have since then also set a bunch more Nabner puzzles. That's another thing that I've used a lot more. You'd like Nabner with repeats? I mean, certainly the original Nabner puzzle. When I did the Nabner puzzle, I had no intentions whatsoever of ever making a second Nabner puzzle. And the first one entirely revolves around the fact that repeats aren't allowed. And I'd say most of the time that I do them, it revolves around that because I like the geometry stuff. But certainly you could have sort of pure arithmetic logic without it. Let's see the just like one of the trickier parts about 10 lines is that 10 lines don't have a lot of geometry. They have some geometry, like similar, I suppose, to double arrows, where there's sort of some geometry, but the fact that things can repeat sort of makes it nightmarish. I think 10 lines where you weren't allowed to do repeats would also be interesting, like like it would restrain the possibilities a bit and might allow stuff. Yeah, restricting it to 5 cells you don't like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind the fact that they're shorter, but people have done the like run on Nabners. I did a puzzle by, I think it was GDC. Don't quote me on that, but I did a puzzle with like Nabners, and I've contemplated setting one of these where it's like you get the Nabner thing for digits that are within 3 of each other on this giant line, so your line can actually sort of like rotate through things and have all the digits on it eventually. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that puzzle, whether it was by GDC or not. By geometry for a 10 line, you mean if there's a diagonal over a box border, it's a 5-5. That is I do remember I've watched a number of people do 10 lines puzzles where they assumed that would be the case and then were heartbroken when there was not a 5-5 somewhere in it. Like I only feel the need to put a 5-5 in a 10 lines puzzle like every second or third time I use 10 lines in a puzzle. I did really enjoy, like, I do enjoy using just a few 10 lines in a puzzle, although it's a little harder because it's not a super common thing. Someone should do a tier ranking only of constraints so nuts that only one person has set them. There you go. Yeah, the antimatter line. Oh, that's right. I'm not even the only person who set antimatter line puzzles, which is definitely the craziest thing that I've done. But MicroStudy actually set an antimatter lines puzzle. I'm sure MicroStudy is eagerly working on an antimatter Philomeno any day now. Oh, did you make a single 10-line puzzle, Kyle? I know there was a quest even to make a 6x6 one that was just a single line with no givens, which was already kind of a pain. I have kind of wanted to make a like J Dyer deconstruction with just a single 10 line, but I have never come anywhere close. And now I probably won't because I made Yazi. And that is my 10 line J Dyer deconstruction, and I generally don't repeat puzzle types unless there's a very good reason to. I do still have to set the sequel to the order, which I should be publishing, by the way. If you hung out last setting stream and you're not on the Discord, you may have missed the excitement and drama that I think for the third time I put a puzzle in testing, and it turned out there was a significant error in that when we set the puzzle on stream, there was a case towards the end that we missed. And so it was unique. It was the worst thing where it was unique but ugly at the very end. And I think at least one, if not more than one tester just solved it and just assumed that proving it was unique in the sort of heinous way was intended, rather than just that I did not notice that it was a possibility. But anyway, so there was an error, so I had to fix it, but then it took me a bit. So anyway, I fixed it and put it in testing, and now several people have tested it, and only one found an error, and the one that found the error retracted the error. So I think it's good for me to publish it, so you can expect the order, which is what I decided to title it, to come up next. Come out soon, and I will either on stream or off stream set the next version of it, which is I want to do a similar puzzle except with a bunch of different types of lines instead of only one type of line. And I've been thinking for that one that I want to, instead of giving J-sums, because I think most people hate J-sums, although a few people love J-sums, and I've gotten actually a lot of people saying, I've gotten a lot of messages from people saying, oh my god, I love J-sums puzzles, but I know that's sort of not the majority opinion. I think I'm going to give just straight nonograms clues and say there's a length 2 German whisper or a length 3 region sumline or something like that, and I think that'll probably be good enough for this. The order sounds ominous. It does a bit. I will be the first to admit. But we shall see. But anyway, I will attempt to set the sequel. Sounds like a secret society could be a secret society of wizards. That's possible. It's not what it's a reference to, but that is all very promising. It can go in the zetamath fanfic section, where exactly the order is coming from. All right, but I'm going to wrap up stream there for today. So thank you very much to everyone for hanging out today. David asks if I've ever done a 6 cell 10 sum. I'm not sure. In 20 lines, there's a sum that's so long that a lot of people broke the puzzle because they just assumed without checking there's no way it could possibly be that long. So there's one of those. There's a very long one in Young Dragon, but not as long as the one that I originally had in the original version before I figured out the secret global rule about yin-yang borders, which was a nightmarish thing to do. But it's true. All right. But anyway, thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who supports the stream. If you want to support the stream, you can do so for as little as $5 a month by clicking the join button down below. No pressure if you can't afford it. Just want to hang out. We're happy to have you here. I'm happy for you to point out when there's already a 2 in box 4 and I'm missing it, or whatever other contributions. Your contributions are greatly appreciated in just hanging out. You can also like the stream. Liking the stream is free. If you could click the thumbs up button, and if you have not done so, please do so. It will make YouTube happy, and it will in turn make us happy. Also, if you're watching the VOD later, I always love to hear comments from people watching the VOD, because I still get comments every once in a while from people who sort of start at the beginning and start trying to catch up or whatever. So if you have watched all of the VODs up to stream number uh, what number is this? I cannot. There we go. Stream number 262. If you've watched all the VODs and you're trying to catch up and you've made it to stream 262, say hi in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. But anyway, thank you to everyone. And last but not least, thank you to the Turbines, Daniel, Danita, David, Franco, Nell, Nordy, Plonktime, and DDX. Thank you for the donations today from Paul Fly. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great day. David started at the beginning and now finishing. Very nice. Oh, Laura started at the beginning. Yeah, Laura, I think, was one of the more recent ones that told me that. Yeah, there are people who start watching One Piece today. Anything is possible. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you all on Sunday for stream. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.